You're listening to Into the Disappearing, a podcast about the missing, the lost, and the traces they leave behind. I'm Marin Blake. Tonight we return to the American Midwest, to a quiet farming town where time feels like it's been pressed into amber. The kind of place where the same families have lived for generations. Where the town's only schoolhouse was built brick by brick in 1909 and held its first tornado drill just 3 years later. That's when it happened. A child disappeared, not from the playground, not on the walk home, but inside the school itself during a routine tornado drill. There were no witnesses, no alarm, no explanation, and perhaps strangest of all, her name has been scrubbed from the records. This is episode 17, The Missing Desk. Our story takes us to Haddon Township, Kansas, a farming community tucked between soybean fields and long stretches of two-lane roads. The kind of place where church potlucks are newsworthy and the post office shares a building with the fire station. In 1961, Haddon's only school, Haddon Consolidated, was a single two-story brick building with 6 classrooms and a cellar used for storm sheltering. Tornado drills were routine, standard protocol, single file, hands on shoulders, head down, file into the cellar. Teachers accounted for each student before the all-clear bell. But on May 9, 1961, one student never came back up. Her name was Carol Ann, though no one seems to remember her last name. She was in 4th grade, 11 years old, blonde hair, red barrettes, a blue satchel. That morning had been perfectly ordinary until a cold front moved in just after lunch. Clouds thickened. The wind picked up. By 1:45, the principal called a drill. Witnesses recall the usual. Sirens sounding. A line of students filing down the narrow stairwell, the usual shushing and shoe scuffing. By 2:05, everyone was back in class, except Carol Ann. Her teacher, Miss Evelyn Hart, reportedly called the principal immediately. Custodians were sent to search the basement, then the building, then the perimeter. She wasn't in the bathrooms. She wasn't behind the boiler. She wasn't hiding. No door had opened. No window was broken. The cellar was one room, one entrance, no place to go. Carol Ann was simply gone. The Haddon County Sheriff's Office conducted a full investigation. Bloodhounds were brought in. Farmers left their fields to help search. They found her satchel near the back wall of the cellar, zipper closed, contents intact. No sign of a struggle, no footprints, no trace of where she could have gone. Her teacher swore she'd seen her enter the cellar. Multiple classmates confirmed it. She was in the line. They remembered her barrettes. One girl even said she held Carol Ann's hand on the stairs. But somehow, no one saw her leave. Here's where it gets strange. After the initial investigation, the town went quiet. The principal declined interviews. Miss Hart left town the following year. But over the decades, a pattern emerged. Every few years, someone tries to look into the case. Journalists, archivists, paranormal investigators, local history buffs. And each time, they hit the same wall. Carol Ann's name doesn't appear on class rosters. Her school photo is missing from the 1961 yearbook. There's no record of a birth certificate in Haddon or the surrounding counties. The official school attendance sheet for May 9th, 1961, that page is torn out. It's as if she never existed. I spoke to Marjorie Watts, now 78, who claims she was in Carol Ann's class. She told me this.
She was quiet, always doodling. Drew a lot of trees, but backwards, with the roots on top. I sat behind her, I swear I did. But I looked through our yearbook and my row's one person short, like she was cut out. But I remember her. I do. I remember the barrettes.
Local legend claims the school was built atop the ruins of a homestead that burned in 1871. Some say the land was cursed. Others believe something was buried below. Not just bones, but something older. A student who disappeared during a drill in 1932, according to oral history. Another in 1909, always during drills, always in that cellar. In 1986, the building was condemned after a partial floor collapse. Local construction crews brought in to renovate the cellar unearthed a secondary wall, bricked over from the inside, with no structural reason to exist. Behind it, a narrow vertical shaft lined with stone, too deep to measure with standard equipment. It wasn't on any blueprint. It has since been sealed again with reinforced concrete. No press release was ever issued. Today, if you visit the empty school lot, the cellar's entrance has been paved over. Locals walk their dogs there. Teenagers dare each other to sneak in after dark. There's even a faded sign marking it a historical site, though no plaque mentions the missing girl. And in the Haddon County Historical Society's archives, the yearbook from 1961 is on display behind glass. Page 22, the fourth grade class, has a smudged fingerprint in the middle of the row, right where a face should be. I don't know what happened to Carol Ann, or if that was even her name. But someone remembered her, and something erased her, not just from the school, not just from the town, but from the record of the world. And that kind of vanishing leaves a different kind of silence. If you, or someone in your family, attended Haddon Consolidated School in the 1960s and remembers this story, I want to hear from you. Next week, we investigate a 2007 case from North Carolina, where a man entered a long abandoned train tunnel and returned 2 hours later, unable to speak, carrying a watch that hadn't worked in 70 years. Until then, I'm Marin Blake. Stay aware, stay grounded, and if the drill comes, count who goes in and count who comes back.
When the night gets bright and the stars align, we stir up dreams in cosmic time. A little stardust, a little tune, you're mixing it with the